What's up, everybody? You are listening, you are watching the Biggie Smalls podcast. I am your co host, Ray. I'm here with Eli and our third co host, Bella. EJ's not here. He's feeling under the weather. So, EJ, if you're watching this, just get better, my brother.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. We'll have you here soon. Um, how are you feeling? Let's start off with that.
I'm good. Fantasy's going great. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited at the same time.
Yeah.
It's coming around the bend. Where playoffs are about to happen soon.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I know. Well, speaking to you off mic, I actually realized how little bit or how little we have left in fantasy, and
Yeah.
I think my odds are against me. But that being said, if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you are not a subscriber yet, I promise you, you guys are pooties. Like I'm just gonna, your title is pootie. And hit that notification bell so you never miss a banger.
Yeah.
We're gonna start off as always with Ray's trivia. It's gonna be a difficult one, but I'm highlighting someone in particular.
Yeah.
If you don't get the answer, it's quite all right. Just picking your brain and obviously picking the viewers and listeners' brains, so then you guys know what's the deal around here.
Yeah.
But
No
trivia
baseball.
question is:
No baseball.
it is baseball. Yeah, it is
This
baseball.
guy.
I'm highlighting your guy.
What?
Garrett Cole has become the second Yankee to unanimously win a Cy Young Award. Can you name me the other Yankee pitcher?
Other Yankee pitcher. Unanimous and Cy Young. Okay. Just go through any of them, honestly. So, CC Sabathia. No. Andy Pettit.
No.
Oh, God. Roger Clemens.
Close, but no.
Close
mean well.
in that era? Randy Johnson? No.
Wait, I don't know if Randy won. He won one with us?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if he won.
Was a stud.
I know he was a stud, yeah, but I don't know if he won one with us.
Mike didn't win one. Moose didn't win one.
Not unanimously.
Oh God.
It is difficult. I was just trying to see if maybe you did know. If not,
no. I in that Roger Clemens era. Yeah, no.
Yeah. It's Ron Guidry. Ron Guidry.
Yeah, no, it was not.
Ron Guidry and Garrett Cole are the only two Yankees to unanimously win Cy Young Awards.
Not getting it.
We will be touching base a little bit in regards to those awards as well as our Yankees, unfortunately. If you guys haven't watched our last episode in regards to the Yankees, make sure you guys do.
Go back.
Yeah, we had a lot to say. Starting off with last week's or this past Thursday Night Football and how Thursday Night's Football curse continues. A lot of teams this year, except for probably two. I can make the argument of one, but you can say two. But the thing is, whatever. A lot of teams on Thursday Night Football, the curse on Thursday night is people just don't perform. Teams just don't perform. The one asterisk is probably the Chicago Bears when Justin Fields and DJ Moore went off.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then on top of that, along with just the regular season itself, it's just fiddled with injuries.
It's a short week. You know, you play on Sunday, then you got to go ahead and play on Thursday. Is it possible that we can move it on Fridays? Can we like move it on Fridays?
Give them like an extra day.
Yeah.
I mean,
because they play. Look, if they play on Friday, they're obviously not playing on Sunday, and then they wrap around.
Right.
So they get that extra day, of rest, and then they, even though it'd be a short week coming around, but it still gives you that one day before that game.
That's interesting. I don't
think
you
play Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then you play on Friday.
Right.
Like you're playing Sunday, then you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're playing.
Right.
So that one day could help.
Now they do. All NFL teams do have Monday off. None of them practice Mondays.
So they don't practice Monday.
So usually, I mean, if you play Thursday, you would only practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we could have the argument if they're even practicing, but whatever.
Yeah, it's probably a light pads.
Yeah, right. But all NFL teams do not play Monday unless it's like one of those. I guess they get blown out Sunday, and then
Yeah.
Monday they're like, "Yeah, no, we're coming in,"
Well, yeah.
type of thing. No, I never really thought about that. I actually never thought about that. But the only thing I can say is uh TV rights.
Yeah, because then you're thinking about Fridays, like you got basketball,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So
they
it's
got their Friday
probably
nights.
because if you realized all it's like that. Hockey's the only one that I haven't really noticed, but it's like that in all three major sports. Thursday is TNT for basketball,
Uh,
so we only get two games Thursdays.
yeah,
And if we get an extra one, it'll probably be on
TV.
NBA League Pass or NBA
Yeah,
TV, so people are still not watching it, right? Or if excuse me, if people don't have that channel or that subscription, they can't watch it, right? Baseball, if you guys remember in baseball, it would only be a slate of 4, 5, 6 games instead of the normal 15,
yeah,
right? And then football just one. So it might be one of those things where it's a TV right. They see that Thursdays other sports don't really bang out like that. So you know what, we can kind of fit in here and join the party. Um, I mean Friday would still work, but I know Friday is a big day for NBA and
yeah,
MLB. If I remember correctly, MLB a lot of times 14, 15 games will be happening. NBA, I know NBA Fridays is kind of crazy.
yeah. And then I mean, now starting to think about it, you got to think about like UFC fights, boxing fights,
True. Yes. Yes.
stuff
Yes.
like
Yes.
that.
Even though that boxing fight just happened this Thursday, but it wasn't really an appealing fight.
Yeah,
Uh, Big Jersey Shakur ended up winning that fight. Just saying, it wasn't really appealing, so it doesn't really matter. Damn. I don't know. I mean, I think to your point, it would have to be the Friday because you can't really do it a Saturday because in Saturday is just
yeah,
like you said. There's fights. There's college football. There's basketball. I mean, I guess in the month of September, there's also baseball. Then there's soccer around the world.
yeah.
So, and I know NFL, is kind of like I know I've said this multiple times in the past couple weeks. They're kind of like the evil empire. They want the
Uh,
views to themselves, so
yep.
they're not going to try to join the party with other teams except for, I mean, other sports except for obviously Thursday. But I explained why. Um, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
because
I
it
never
looks
really thought
bad,
about that.
dude. Our are just rough.
Yeah,
Like no one wants to watch the games.
nobody.
It's so bad.
And then I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. I think another thing that I've noticed too is listen. I'm telling you right now, week one was probably the only one because it was Chiefs and Detroit. Now, the thing is, Chiefs just won the Super Bowl, and it was only appealing because it was the game opener. I mean, the season opener.
Yeah,
So everybody was just excited to watch football.
yeah,
But it was the Chiefs. They just won the Super Bowl. We didn't at that time. We didn't know what Detroit was going to be. So it didn't actually. This still defends your point. It wasn't a very appealing game, but Chiefs end up losing that game,
yeah,
right? Even though I still don't think both teams still didn't play great. The Chiefs play horrible. Then they have those drop passes situations,
yeah.
and Detroit. I'm not gonna say they played great, but they played how they're supposed to play and
Yeah,
just
they
won the
played
game.
well. Kansas City kind of just lost that game at the end.
Yeah. Um.
And I get it because you're playing on a short week, so you don't want the good teams to then play on Thursday. But then it just ruins Thursday because then you have just n-
Mediocre games.
yeah, mediocre games that are teams playing teams that are not really good, and then you throw them out there, and
Yeah.
just no one wants to watch.
So now we have and that
Besides this past game where you're like, oh, Bengals and
right. Like there was some hype to it coming up to that
yeah,
to
you're like,
that
all
week.
right, finally we got a good Thursday game. We're gonna go ahead and watch this game, and
It didn't work out like that.
yeah,
Wow. I had a point to make, but I just forgot. We're gonna move on into the second point of that, which is injuries. So along with teams or having very mediocre games on Thursdays and teams not playing up to par, we also have been getting a lot of injuries. And this Thursday, unfortunately, we had one major injury,
yeah,
which is the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, going down with a season-ending injury. Joe Burrow joins a long list of quarterbacks for the season, right? I think it's Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones. It's a Kyler Murray, but I know he's back, or whatever the case may be. It's a bunch of quarterbacks. It's a bunch of
yeah.
quarterbacks.
It's like 8.
Um, yes. What I don't like, or what we don't like, is Joe Burrow goes down, and I'm not going to say there were people excited about it, but not too many people were sad, unless you're in the city of Cincinnati or in the state of Ohio. I'm so sorry. That should have never happened. Um, Not too many people were sad or mad about Joe Burrow being injured.
Yeah.
And for those listening, for those watching, we don't really like that.
No.
Um, I'm actually I'll give you the floor because I just found the stat, and while I'm looking at it, you can talk to me a little bit about how you feel about that.
Well, it's tough because it comes to just being a person, a human being at that point. Because obviously, if anyone who's played sports, injuries are not fun. Not fun at all, especially when you're a competitor. And to see someone go down, your first reaction should be like, damn. It should be like, that sucks, that hurts. I feel bad for that person. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't be happy, shouldn't be joyful to see someone go down. Especially when that other person is trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. You're trying to compete, they're trying to compete. You don't want to see someone go down, and just because it makes you have a better chance of winning, that shouldn't be a good thing. You would want to face someone head on, strong at their best, not weak and hurt. So that's what I gotta say. I'm like, if you're just a well-rounded person, you want to compete against the best, not someone who's has a calf injury, someone that has a hand injury, and you're gonna be happy because your team then gets to move on and you don't gotta see them. Like, no, it's not how it works.
Well, to that final point you just made, I think that's the reason why is they just I really do think a lot of you just fear Joe Burrow and
Yeah,
know what Joe Burrow could do to your team if healthy, at full force with all the guns blazing. Now, this year he has been riddled with injuries. Eli mentioned the whole calf injury at the beginning of the season. We don't really know if that's even injured, but I guess he just coped with it, right?
yeah,
And obviously now we have this situation. I just think it's fear. I think a lot of you guys think Joe Burrow is that
yeah.
guy, but I did find this stat, right? Crazy stat, because this guy ended up retiring pretty early, and one of his reasons why is because of injuries. Andrew Luck,
Yeah.
in 4 seasons, which was 55 games.
Damn.
So let me just put this in perspective, right? Like I said, he retired due to major injuries. He was just, I think every year it was just bang left and right.
Yeah.
And at that time, the coach just couldn't, I don't know what you guys were doing in the front office, excuse me, but you guys was just not finding ways to protect this gentleman. He was sacked 115 times.
Damn.
Joe Burrow, in 4 seasons, 52 games, 3 games less than Andrew Luck, has been sacked 148 times.
Golly. I knew that line
Literally
was bad, but sheesh.
a little bit over 30 more sacks in 3 less games. So I'm not bringing up any questions of targeting. I don't want to do that here. Cincy, if you want to have a prosperous career or give Joe Burrow a prosperous career and allow him to take you to the promised land as he has been in the last 4 seasons, you're probably going to have to protect him just a little bit better because that's insane.
I just don't understand when they had to go ahead and face Kansas City, and like that first half, he got sacked 6 times. That left side couldn't stop Kansas City. They had to double on the left side
Yeah.
to get something moving in the second half. Like, that offensive line has been bad ever since he got there. But I don't even want to talk about making moves on their offensive line. How about just not putting him out there on the field? They supposedly they knew about his calf injury
Okay.
and he was practicing anyways, and they allowed him practice, and he got hurt in practice. It wasn't that he was practicing and he got hurt.
Yeah.
No, they knew about the calf injury and he went out there anyways and then got hurt. So I'm mad about that, because protect him.
Right.
And two, he gets hurt in practice and then you rush him back on the field for week 1. And he can't even move. And your offensive line is garbage. And you still put him out there with one leg in the NFL. In the NFL, he's on one leg with that bad of an offensive line. Doesn't look good until like week 4. Then they
Yeah.
go on a little stretch
Yeah.
and they run into Stroud. They lose. And prior to that, this past week, he had a hand injury and they knew about it. Didn't put it on the injury report. Didn't put it on, allowed him to play out there with a bad hand. He throws the ball, pop, he's done. How do you put him out there yet again with another injury? Don't put it on the report and he gets hurt due to having a hand injury. Make that make sense.
It's not cool.
What is Cincy doing?
It's not cool at
You're
all.
basically running him out. I feel very, very sad for Joe Burrow because he has shown he's a great quarterback and the Bengals organization just sees otherwise.
I'm on the same boat. I mean, I'm Joe Burrow is my favorite quarterback right now in the league. So, it's really sad for me to see what's going on, and I understand that they're running an investigation on the Cincinnati Bengals in result of this because, like Eli mentioned, they knew of the injuries and they still decided to throw him out there. Now, I know some of you ill-minded fucks are gonna be like, "Oh well, it's Joe Burrow. He probably has the final say. If he's injured, he shouldn't be." Right? Listen, if you ever played sports, you'd never want to sit out. So let me start by that. If you never played sports, I don't want to hear you. Shut up. Shut up. You don't. You just don't know. You're just once again, you are a couch potato. You are a couch anchor, a couch analyst, and you just want to say something just to be controversial. As a player, regardless of how injured you are going to want to play the game. Especially if you're a top player like Joe Burrow and probably thinks, this is just an assumption, that probably thinks that he is the best chance for his
Yeah.
team to win. So he's gonna push his body to the limit for him to get on that field and perform as best as he can.
Yeah. You got a pure example, Aaron Rodgers trying
Yeah.
to get back
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
off of
Yeah.
Achilles. Like when you just have that hunger for the game, you want to go out there and help your team win. That's just being a competitive person.
1000%.
And I understand he wants to be out there, but medically,
You
this
can't.
is your man.
You
You
can't.
have to take care of him. Even if he thinks he can still go out there, you should know that he's not ready. That's what I don't understand.
And you're absolutely right. So it takes the organization to step in and be like, dog, especially Joe Burrow, who is the second highest paid quarterback right now. We invested a lot of dollars in you. We're gonna need you to be healthy
I don't.
within this contract.
Yes.
Do us a favor. We're already 6-4. We're already 6-4, 6-3. I forgot their record. Just take a seat. Even with you at 100%, we probably don't have a huge chance to win the Super Bowl because you guys are gonna have to clash into the Chiefs and not Detroit.
Baltimore
Yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah.
The
The
Browns.
Browns, good defense. You're gonna have to clash into those teams, and if your top dog is not healthy, yeah. So sit them down. Number one. So that's the organization's issue. Then what I have an issue with that, like Cincinnati, right? And I'm glad that they're having an investigation. I'm not saying throw these guys in there too, right? Aaron Rodgers is having this marketing campaign about, oh, I'm returning, oh, I'm returning, I'm returning. I haven't heard one word from the Jets.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's healing at a remarkable pace, or yeah, we'll see, we'll take it week by week. If I was the Jets front office, I'd probably also be like, yo, Tug, I get that you want to get back, but we signed you for 2-3 years. We'll just do this next year, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have everybody next year. We'll regroup. We have another offseason that we can just perfect everything. Because even with Aaron Rodgers, your offensive line is horrible,
Yeah.
right? So you might run into the same issue that since he's having with the Bengals and having Aaron Rodgers just getting hurt because you guys can't protect them.
Yeah.
And I know it was hard knocks and I know it was like videos on the internet and stuff, but listen, to the viewers outside of the organization, offensively, you guys weren't really clicking. Obviously, we didn't get to see it in the regular season because 4 plays in,
Yeah.
tragedy happens. But
I mean, I may be optimistic, but hey, Zach Wilson, he's shown some moments where they look pretty good.
yeah,
I'm not saying they have a winning record right now, but I think in the position that they're in and their defense has put them in, they probably would have been in a good spot. We
yeah,
don't know; it's assumption, but they've been
I
in a
mean
lot of close games where they've
that
either
Aaron might have.
squeaked out or yeah, might have won. So
You're right. The only thing is, week 16 is what they said. You have what, 2 weeks left.
yeah, no,
So you need. let's say you guys lose out until week 16. Those two games are not gonna do anything, regardless of the Bills' woes right now. You Miami's not slowing down, so you're not going to win the division. Number one, right? Number two, let's say you guys do win a few games, you are in contention. Aaron Rodgers come back. You think he's just, again, just like I said, you guys had issues offensively. You think he's just going to come back and just
Yep.
have miraculous chemistry with your offensive line, with your receivers, with the.
Yep.
I don't care if he's been working off camera. What I really don't. Once the clock starts hitting 11:59 and counting down, first quarter at 1 p.m., it's a different story.
Yeah. That speed, the NFL speed is way different.
And
It's
then
gonna have to move a lot quicker.
you guys make the playoffs. Now you got to ask Now you got to ask this question to yourself. Okay, Aaron Rodgers came back. He's as healthy as he can be. We scratched into the playoffs. Are you really gonna win a game? You're gonna have to face the Chiefs, the Miami, the Bills, depending on if they make it in there. The Baltimore's, the
The story sounds great. It sounds great, but I don't want to see him out there. After seeing what Joe Burrow's going through, I want to see Aaron Rodgers 100% in that Jets uniform.
yeah.
I want to see it happen next year. I know I made the comment of like, oh, I would love to see him. It'd be great, but looking at these injuries and what they really do, hey, take the next couple more months and we'll see you in September.
Well, you mentioned there earlier. You rather see competition where everybody's at full force, everybody's
Yeah,
healthy. That's
exactly.
just the best version of sports. Um, that being said, we are going to transition into the NBA. And the NBA, I know I probably said this every week so far, but it is in full effect. But now we're really getting into the nitty gritty because I feel like we're a month in, at least almost a month, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So teams should probably start figuring out what's going on, or at least start predicting how their season's gonna go. Unfortunately, for some teams, they are finding their identity. For others, they seem as lost as always.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're gonna tackle the good first. The good. Right now, Mavericks, even though they lost last night, but they did lose to a 40-point performance by Giannis.
Yeah.
But they did lose to the Bucks yesterday. But the Mavs are starting with a 9-4 start. I just said start like six different times. Um, behind Luca's, once again, it's very normal, but whatever. It is Luca. We're gonna highlight it. 38-8 season so far,
Damn. Damn.
which is
Insane.
it's out of his mind.
Yo, baby LeBron.
It's out of his
Baby
mind.
LeBron
Like
right there.
that's what I'm saying. Like LeBron has had 30-point seasons, if I'm correct, but to maintain 38 and
38.
8
It's
through
early, but that's insane.
right, right. But they do look good. Kyrie, he is showing up in moments that I guess that's what they paid him for.
Yeah.
The Mavs are looking pretty tough out there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy that they're clicking. I can see the chemistry. Luca's gonna have the ball majority of the time. Kyrie's picking his spots very well. There's certain games where he's like inconsistent, but that's just finding their groove within
Yeah,
them two. Because Luke 38-8, you're gonna have the ball a lot. But
Luca
Kyrie
definitely
Irving,
found his groove. Yeah,
you know, I had no problem with him. It's really Kyrie picking his spots and really taking over. Um, Once they can get that chemistry at full strength, they're gonna be a problem. My big thing with them was just interior defense. Like having like going against Giannis and then Embiid and Joker. Like that's really the test. So to compete with the Bucks like that, was good to see. Because obviously what Giannis does on the floor, just always working on the interior. So going against them and matching up pretty well, I'm like, okay, they look good. They look really good. It's a good start with them. I'm excited to see how they go, like going forward.
yeah. I mean, hopefully, because I think last year they also had a pretty hot start, and then it all kind of went downhill. And I know injuries were a part of it and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
like
But
Luca got hurt. Then they trade, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But hopefully, they're finding it out. I think it's still Kid out there coaching, right?
yep,
Let's just say they probably have some experience under their belt, and they're just fine. They're figuring things out. Um,
well, it's also no more. Kyrie drama. Now they're just playing basketball. They're just hooping,
Hey,
which
as
is great.
well, Kyrie, I still love you. I don't really. I'm gonna tell you right now, everything that happens around Kyrie, I
Yeah,
don't even
yeah,
listen
yeah,
to. Like, I guess it's just being biased. But Eli's right. It should just be about basketball, and once the whistle is blown, just ball out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
On the East side, um, as I'm wearing their jersey, the Celtics end up being the first team. I didn't do that on purpose, to be honest. The first team to 10 wins.
Yeah,
Nothing really crazy, nothing really special, except for the fact that they are having once again a pretty hot start. Uh, but what do you think about the Celtics? Getting to 10 wins first, especially uh, kind of going through the Sixers' hot start because I know they started
yeah.
tremendously hot, and they still then end up winning, getting to 10 wins first. But
So, I was actually talking to my friend Jack, and he's a really big fan of the Celtics, and he was nervous about that game, and I was trying to tell him like, hey, they're gonna be okay. He was like, Porzingis was out, Jalen Brown was out, and I'm like, you guys are gonna be fine. They just played a back to like that was their back to back game. They played a game before that night, and it was a really high scoring game. So now you go back home to the Sixers, and you got another big game. You're gonna play a lot more minutes. I think down the crunch, I think you guys are gonna be fine. And that's what happened. They were fine. I got to see oh my goodness. What's that guy's name? Oh my god, for the Celtics.
Pritchard,
No.
uh, big man, Porzingis, Drew
No,
Holiday,
because remember,
Jalen Brown.
Porzingis was out,
Mhm.
Jalen Brown was out, and I was expecting guys to really
Oh,
fulfill
is
them.
it the damn? I'm gonna sound rude.
Point
Is
guard,
it
shooting guard.
is the bald headed kid? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes,
I
yes.
forgot.
He
Damn.
was in his. I'm
Yeah,
mad
yeah,
but he was in his bag, and that's what I wanted to see. And the ball movement was great.
yeah. Mhm.
I'm like, okay, this is what I like. You have Porzingis out, your big man, who's been playing well. Jalen Brown, I'm not gonna speak on him, but because he was out, it allowed everyone else kind of do their thing,
Mhm.
and it was good to see. And JT like is really flourishing in that spot.
So
Having Drew Holiday just setting the tone for everyone else
it's really
is
helping them out.
really helping him out. Scoring, just being spacing, like the floor spacing, they have it down to a T. So I'm like, all right, they have something cooking there, and it looks good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm excited for, especially JT. The thing with me is, I'm still just gonna chalk it up with, them. They still need to figure out some things. It still doesn't look like the entire team has taken that jump. To me, it just looks like Tatum took that jump. But to your point, it's probably a big part that Drew Holiday is in there, just taking off the load a little bit. And then on top of that, with the whole Jalen Brown situation, I still think they need to figure out their things there because
Yeah,
you guys need to find a way how to coincide. And if you're telling me one person scoring 20 one night and then the other person scoring 30 and whoever is not scoring that amount of point is just having a rough night, that's not really coinciding.
yeah.
You know, Jason Tatum has been scoring 28 plus 30-point ball games, excuse me. And Jalen Brown's kind of just been in the 17, 18, 19, 20
If
marks.
that sometimes
Right.
it's not even.
And then on the flip side, last game that the Celtics they end up winning the game. Last Celtics game, Jalen Brown, I guess, explodes for 24 points, but Tatum only has 16,
Yeah.
and that can't happen. You guys have to figure out a way to coincide with each other. Both, if Tatum is scoring 30, Brown, I'm gonna need you in that 24-25 range. All right, or let's just say Tatum does have a bad night and Brown is in that 24 plus, but Tatum, I need you at 20. I need you at 22. I can't have. Excuse me. The Celtics can't have one of you guys going off and the other guy just taking a back seat because of whatever reason.
Yeah, it just being able to be consistent,
Yeah.
and it's tough because JT's such a high volume shooter. Like he's gonna have off nights. As we've seen, he hasn't had many off nights.
Yeah.
Jalen Brown, on the other hand, has had a lot,
Yeah. He's
and
still
he's
trying to
just got
figure
to
it out.
figure it out. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's just, hey, just attack. In a
Yeah.
sense, you see JT when he gets the ball, he's not thinking about anybody else but the basket.
And I do appreciate now. The thing is, hopefully you worked on your stamina. Pause. because the Celtics. I keep saying we. Sorry, it's because I'm rooting for you guys. But the Celtics will is going to need this to continue throughout the entire season. I do appreciate that Tatum is not just trying to, he's not settling. Oh, I can't break this guy down, or I can't figure. I'm just gonna shoot this three ball. His percentage is up. The attempts is a little bit lower than last year. I know it was the beginning of the season, so I know whatever, but he is attacking a little bit more. So I do appreciate that from him. Um, Probably someone that the Celtics might still have or should still have. Udoka, after his shenanigans in Boston, went to Houston,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he has been changing the culture over there. For those that don't know, Udoka is now the head coach of the Houston Rockets. Those boys out there started 0-3 and have won six straight after that. Now, I think they just lost. Oh, excuse me, they did lose their last game, so now they're 6-4, and we're gonna get to the team that they lost to. They did lose their
Barely.
last game, right?
Barely.
But
Says a
what
lot.
what do you yeah what do you think about this young team too? It's a young team besides obviously, I guess Brooks, and I mean Brooks is still young, but Van Vliet and stuff like that. What do you think about Udoka going to Houston, changing the culture, and possibly implementing a winning culture with this young talented team?
I'm excited for him because he's got a young group, like you said, and they're out there playing basketball. Like they're really running and gunning. They're sticking to the game plan defensively. I've seen them run a couple defensive schemes against the Lakers. I've seen it, and against the Clippers that we're going to talk about, and how they're defending these premier guys, and they're sticking with it. And to have Van Vliet, your point guard, to help Jalen Green and them boys, it really helps. And you got Brooks, who I know the antics are crazy, but he's going to stick with it. He's going to defend your best player. He's going to go out there and try to be at his best. So when you got like a player like that, a player like Van Vliet, and you got a bunch of core guys that like, hey, if I can just be a sponge and lock in and really produce, I mean, this is what the product you're going to get.
For sure.
So I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Udoku, honestly, because he got a second shot and with a young core.
Yeah.
So he can really develop them and really, can stand out for hopefully a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you're doing out there, continue that.
Yeah.
Um, and I also, this is what it seems like. I probably need to, I haven't watched too many games. I only watched a few. I probably need to watch a few more just to really see what's really going on or how they're really figuring it out. But in the games that I watched, it seems, excuse me, that they kind of figured out their offensive schemes with Jalen Green still being, I guess, the ball hog or the bucket getter that he is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like they know. Listen, Jalen Green, once the ball touches his hands, it's he's going to the basket or whatever the case may be. It's like they somehow figured it out. I don't know to give credit to Udoka or Van Vliet because I know he's a veteran at this point. Um, but it does seem like you guys figured out the Brooks thing.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I, I
I
could
don't
be
support it, but I get it.
yeah, I could be a hypocrite because there's other people that have other NBA players that have these type of antics, and I just think it's corny. The way I see it is, listen, Draymond Green kind of started with that, and Draymond's a four-time champion. If Brooks somehow figures out that this is his niche and makes it into championship freaking success, then whatever. Just you better perform, Brooks. That's all it is. Like you can't just be out there being a goof
And
and
then yeah,
then doing nothing.
we've seen what he did last year. Trying to poke out LeBron, and then
Yeah.
we saw how that went. So
Um. So that's kind of, and there's a lot more teams we could get into, right? We could definitely get into OKC. They're having a tremendous start to the
their
season,
young core.
and to me, if you're asking me, their quote unquote rookie, Chet Holmgren, is probably surpassing Wemby, but
They're neck and
whatever.
neck,
Yeah, yeah.
close.
Because Chet's going off, but there, like I said, there's a bunch of other teams. We're just gonna stick with those three because those three, they're really highlighting what's going on right now. But we're gonna get to the bad. And those same Rockets that we said that started off horrible, but then ended up being great, they did just recently lose to the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers, since the Harden trade, are 1-6. That one game being against the Rockets, and it was because of late game heroics by their top dogs. What do you think? I mean, if you want to break down the trade, we could break down the trade if you want to. But what do you think is the issue with the Clippers, particularly after this Harden trade?
To me, it doesn't make sense because you got a guy like James Harden who likes to break down the defense, and then um you got Russ who wants to be on attack mode in transition, and those are two different things. So like I don't know if you noticed late in game, Russ would be in the game and they'll sub him out to put in James Harden. And Russ is not a fan of that. He wants to be in those moments, and Harden is taking that role. And it's just being able to go ahead and run the offense, and it's hard. Like you have Paul George who's playing off ball, and you have Kawhi off ball, and they're trying to like figure it out. I think Kawhi was trying to score on one play, gave it back to James Harden, and then like he made something happen.
Yeah.
So there's no like cohesiveness in their offense, which they're gonna struggle because when you look at James Harden, you're thinking pick and roll, you're thinking a lot of lobs, but you're not doing that with Kawhi. You're not doing that with Paul George. You're not doing that with Russ. So like, how do they get into the offense? So that's what I'm worried about. And they have their schedule is tough in a sense that they got a lot of back to backs and a lot of going across the country. So like they're not going to be able to go ahead and play. Like Paul George is going to play, but he may have limited minutes.
Right.
You know, Kawhi Leonard has to play, so he would have to do a limited minutes. So like, how are they going to go ahead and have James Harden play a lot of minutes and Russ have a lot of minutes because they're not on any restriction, and then you both have them out there on the same time. You got one that wants to run and gun, and you got one that wants to kind of slow it down and break it down. And guess what? We all seen it didn't work with Russ and the Lakers being a spot up shooter. So what are you gonna do? So it's a little messy. They barely won. They scraped out a win,
Yeah.
and I don't see again any better for them. Prove me wrong.
Um. Well, I think I might have to agree with you because I don't really see. This is my issue, right? I really want to have this as a Thursday topic. I don't know when particularly because I want to see a few more games. But a lot this is kind of like the whole Cashman thing a little bit. Like, what did you guys think in the Clippers organization that adding a fourth quote unquote high profile player was supposed to answer all the questions, right? Because it's about chemistry. It's about how you guys are going to run your offense or run your defense. And listen, you guys haven't figured it out with just Paul George and Kawhi. Then you add Russ. You guys had a little success with Russ, but that's because Russ was running the show and George and Kawhi was injured, right? The only success you guys have with at least two players on the floor was right before COVID. I don't know if you guys remember this. Right before COVID, the Clippers was going crazy, and we were having Clippers championship talks. Unfortunately, COVID happens. That kind of went downhill for them because it looks like whatever groove they found went right out the window. And then we all know the Lakers came out and won the championship that year. That was the only and last time you guys figured out how to run this team with more than one superstar.
Yeah.
Then you add Russ. Again, you guys were injured, so I'm not really going to harp on it because how would you really figure it out if two of your players are injured and then Russ is running the show? Cool. Then we start this season. Not saying you guys exploded, except for Paul George. Paul George is having a great start, right? But then you decide to, oh, you know what? Let's add Harden. Like how does that make sense in bringing another ball hog? Because that's what I'm gonna call it too. We another now you got four people because that's another thing. All four of these players in whatever position they've been in whatever team, George with the Pacers and then eventually with OKC, and somehow they managed that with Russ as well, right? Kawhi with the Spurs at an extent, but then especially with the Raptors, right? Then we have Harden in Houston. And then Russ, wherever he's been, except for the Lakers, it didn't really work out for Russ and the Lakers. But in every era or point in their careers, those guys was the highlight. The ball had to be in their hand. The offense had to run through them, right? So not only are they these high profile players, the ball is in their hand most of the time. So now their mental, their ego is like, oh, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So now you have four of them on one team with one ball. How is that going to work out? Then how Eli mentioned, that makes no sense to me. You guys get Russ last year. Do something in the playoffs with Russ last year, right? Again, Paul George and Kawhi were hurt. And then in the pivotal moment in the game, take Russ out to put your newly acquired James Harden. That probably, I'm not trying to disrespect James Harden and his IQ in basketball, but probably doesn't know the playbook just yet. That makes zero sense to me. So you guys do have to pick it up. I'm not taking this away from the players, right?
No.
The four of you have to figure this out, especially Kawhi and George. This is your team, both of you, and unless you guys decide on which one of you two is the guy, both of you started this process, so it's both of your teams, and you guys have to figure this out. But on top of that, the coaching, the GM, the assistant coaches, what are you guys? What's in the cards for you that you guys thought getting Harden and adding this to the fold is supposed to answer all the questions? Because it doesn't. From the outside looking in, it does not make sense. And this is why you guys are 1-6. And like Eli said again, the one win was you guys scratched out against the Rockets. That yes, they're rolling, but it's the Rockets.
Yeah, and I want to say this: like when you look at any like championship team, um, it comes a lot of sacrifice, and there's key players.
Yeah.
You know, and you can go date it back to Dennis Rodman and having Pippen, and then you
Your
can go
your
back to having Fisher and
your boy
having
at the
Ron
Heat.
Artest. You can then have, if you want to talk about the Heat, you have guys like UD, and you got guys like Ray Allen. Like they're
Yep.
just substitutes. You got Shane Battier, you got Mike Miller. Like guys just sacrificing to go ahead and win. Like on this team, who's gonna go ahead? There's not who's sacrificing. Who's playing defense? Like what are you doing extra to then help the next guy? Like they don't have it. They don't. Like you look at even you talk about Kobe and you have Bynum and you just got these guys that are gonna stick to their role and they're gonna be their best at it. You don't have anybody on this team that's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Any championship team, like we could talk about Denver, and their key
True.
guys.
Because I
You
mean, Aaron Gordon,
Aaron Gordon
Aaron
played a
Gor-
key part.
top dog in Orlando, and has to come to Denver and kind of be a supporting cast. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
had
had to figure his role.
he got his role. He killed it. You had Pope who killed their role. Like um you had Brown he got paid because of how well he did in the playoffs and how he did against the Lakers. Like you had dogs, you had guys that fulfilled their role and played to their best potential. Like you don't have role players. You don't have people committed. You have a bunch of stars.
Right.
You're not going to win. So they have to either sacrifice, their name to go ahead and do the dirty work, or they're gonna have to go guns blazing and think they're gonna go ahead and ball hog it out. Because I don't see it happening.
Not at all.
I've seen two stars be great and everyone else do their thing. Because if you look, everybody has a two guy. Kobe had Shaq, Kobe had Gasol, LeBron had D Wade. Like everyone has their two guy, but then you got role players. Like who is their role player? All right, it's Kawhi and Paul George. All right, Russ and Harden is gonna be the role player, but they don't want to be role players. So like, how is that gonna work? That's my thing. Like they gotta find their niche. We've seen success on how championships have been won. I don't think they have the recipe for it.
As of right now, no, definitely not. In the same city, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. Despite of being undefeated right now in the in-season tournament, only one game over 500, and I'm not gonna call him your boy anymore, but Anthony Davis not really, well, in the eyes of most, not taking that jump or that next step or taking over this team as he should, right? What's with the Lakers? What's going on? Is this all on AD, or should we also add in Ham or the supporting cast? Like, is this just an AD issue, or is this a Los Angeles Lakers issue?
I want to say it's a little bit of both. Um, because I don't like how they're using their lineups. It also doesn't put. I know I'm defending Reese, but it also doesn't put him in a good spot. We just look how well he played last year and how inconsistent he is. He's averaging 10 points, which kudos, fine. But it should be like 15, 16, if realistically. I understand that I had issues with D'Lo, and it looks like D'Lo's finding his niche. And if he's gonna be the guy, we have to now. Reeves is gonna have to take a back seat into that 6-man spot and take over that second group. Like that, he's getting paid. He should be taking over that second group and really doing his thing because he's not going to be allowed to if D'Lo's scoring, if LeBron is out. Why is LeBron having 38, 35 points? Why are we doing this, you know? So like Anthony Davis really has to step up because if you're not doing anything, you're clogging up the lane for everyone else because no one's going to care if you're out there on an island because guess what? We're going to leave you out there because you're not doing anything. 4 points is wild to me. Like I don't understand. And it's back to back 2 terrible games. You're telling me LeBron is not going to be able to find you and put you in positions to score? No, you're just missing. No, you're just not in shape. Like, no, you look nonchalant. You don't care. Like, those are the things I'm worried about. Because, like, oh yeah, we got Denver. They're talking all this crap, but then you face them and you don't show up. Then you go on a skid where you've been playing the worst basketball you've ever played. So like that's its own issue in itself, but I do have some pros. Cam Reddish looks great. Prince looks like he's finding his groove. It honestly with Vanderbilt out, it also like doesn't help because defensively we're not as sharp. Um, and we got this lineup that they're running with like 2 bigs. Only reason why Wood is out there is because AD is playing soft. That's the only reason why he's out there. All right, I'm gonna go defend, and I could shoot. Guess what? Anthony Davis is getting paid to what? To shoot and defend. He can't do neither. That's why he's out there. If not, he should be in that second group. Wood should be in the second group. You shouldn't be running 2 bigs because he's soft. He doesn't want to play the 5. He wants to play the 4. Like, get over it, dude. Like, you need to sacrifice for the team. And that's the issue. Being able to sacrifice for the team. He hasn't been able to do it since he's won. It's like he's out there and doesn't care. So it is worrisome for as a Laker fan because you're like, hey, we're getting these pieces, they're working. But if Anthony Davis just were to show up, they shouldn't be 6-4. They realistically would probably be 8-2 if he just showed up.
Right.
But he's not. So I'm worried about that. We should not LeBron. Like what more can we say? 21 seasons he's out here doing his thing. Like they had a stat in the fourth quarter where he's either scored or assisted on all the points besides 2. That's insane.
Yeah,
I'm worried as a Laker fan.
you shouldn't be doing that, especially like Eli says, 38 years old, 21 years in. It shouldn't be this guy's. I don't care what any of you guys tell me about. Oh, but it's LeBron, bro. We didn't say that about Vince Carter. We didn't say that. I mean, I guess we did say that about Dirk, but Dirk's supporting cast was performing a little bit better, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'm agreeing with you as well. I think it is on both sides because, or it is both. AD, I don't even know what to say to you anymore. Like I really don't. There was the whole hoopla about this year was going to be the year that you win Defensive Player of the Year again, and this, then, the third, and you're not doing none of that. You're not
Long
doing none of
gone.
that. And then I kind of appreciate it, but yo, guys, don't try to save him. I appreciate the whole. I think it was D'Lo trying to say, "Oh, we need Fro Davis, because he performed," and then he kept the Fro and did nothing.
And 0.
And did nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I get that you guys trying to hype him up and it's your teammate. I appreciate that. You probably should. But at the same time,
Check him.
yeah,
Check him.
I would want that same energy on the other side. Yo, you have 4 points.
Check
I don't
him.
give a fuck if you have a Fro, cornrows, or a Caesar. Go.
Facts.
I need more than 4 points. I need 4 points over 25. That's what we need from. Oh well, excuse me. That's what the Lakers need from Anthony Davis. And then team wise, I think on the other side, team wise, I think it's also to blame. I already spoke about Ham's
Damn, yeah.
coaching's woes. I know you like to pick and choose with your it's kind of early thing. Hey, also Reeves, you did get paid. I'm gonna need you to
No,
figure it
I'm
out.
with you on that. I'm with you.
And then like you said, D'Lo, I know he's finding it out. I know Vanderbilt's hurt, so we'll see what happens there. And some people are figuring out, but I guess the same as the Clippers. Once everybody's healthy, once things are, I guess, are rolling or the way it should be, you guys need to figure out how to get to. Let's start with playoff basketball. Like, how about we build? You know, I don't know the record. I don't have the record here. Whatever the record is, let's become a playoff team.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out and become a playoff team. Oh wow, we took the next step. Now we're a playoff team. How can we win the championship?
Yeah.
Like, can we tweak something where, like, let's start off there because right now, good luck making the playoffs. I know you guys are sixth, but it's kind of early. I get it. But if let's say you guys hold that out, you're gonna be the sixth seed. You're gonna verse who? I don't know who's the third seed. The Suns. I don't really know, but whatever. It's not going to be an easy road for you guys if you guys don't figure it out. So I do, but AD is the biggest issue. I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'll say this. AD is just the bigger issue.
I mean, we said it. They go as far as he goes. We've seen on a bad foot what LeBron does. He took him basically to the Western Conference Finals by himself.
Yeah.
Not by himself. I'm only saying because AD should have been taking that role.
Yeah.
And then yet again, they in that conference they get swept. But when you do the math, it's by 6 points.
Yeah.
So like it's late game, it's crunch time, it's where is Anthony Davis?
LeBron, just take a page out of Kobe's book every morning when you guys come in, but just play the Western Conference Finals. Just play it. Play it in the screen and tell AD how much of a bitch he was, and hopefully that builds a fire. Because if I'm AD, I'm so sorry. If I'm AD, right, and I have this hoopla about I'm becoming Defensive Player of the Year, and you allow, I get that he's MVP and he's a champion, but you allow Jokic to do that to you,
Bruh.
and then you come in this season, right, again with all the hoopla, and still performing the way they're performing. Like I guess what Joker did meant nothing to you because he made you look like a puppy.
Yo.
So
the shots he was taking, like, bro, I wish we could just replay. Bro, them boys was shooting stupid. All of them.
One leg.
All of them.
Fade away.
Jamal Murray.
In your face
all of
too,
them.
bro.
They were, bro, snipers. They were, like, Denver said, yo, this is our championship. And then this is it.
And then the one game that Aaron Gordon, like, bullied you guys, or I think that was against them, right? If I'm correct.
No, that was against Miami because they had
fine.
Gabe Vincent and they were going to town.
Yeah, AD, you're the biggest issue. I am gonna agree with Eli.
It's just floor spacing. Like I've been watching these games, and it really comes down to floor spacing, and they do it in runs. They're able to have these runs where they have the offensive flowing, and it's because of the lanes. And when they're able to do that, and they're able to shoot the ball better, and have these gaps, it just opens up everything for them. And if they can do that for 48 minutes, they're going to be tough to beat. Once they can figure it out, they have a lot of key players that Ham is doing these lineups. Once he's able to just stick to 6 or 8 and really get the rotation tight, once they figure it out, then you can maybe mix and match 1 or 2 players to see what they can do. Because throwing Hayes out there randomly in a rotation where I just don't think it works, like, what are we doing? So once they can figure it out and play some good basketball, then I'll be able to see where they land within 1 through 8. But as of right now, they just look like they're just letting LeBron take them as far as they can right now, which he shouldn't be doing at 39 years old.
And we'll keep saying that until you guys figure it out. We're gonna transition into the MLB. Back to baseball. It's still not over, but this might be the last week because we finally got the MLB Awards, and once again, more Yankee news that is just gonna make Yankee fans mad. But we'll start with the good. MLB Awards. We have Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Atlanta Braves and Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels unanimously winning MVPs. Excuse me. I do want to make note, this is the first time in MLB history that both MVPs were unanimously voted. Uh,
Yeah.
so flowers to Acuna, flowers to Otani. Acuna ended up beating out Mookie Betts. I know Mookie Betts was having a great stretch. Former what do you call this? Former teammate in Freeman, and he also beat out current teammate, excuse me, with Matt Olson having that explosive year in the home run category.
Yeah.
Otani, he beat out dudes in, excuse me, World Series champions Corey Seager and Marcus Simeon. I'm not too sure why Simeon was up there, but I know Simeon had. So if you look up his stats, though, let me
He
not
had a great
disrespect him.
year.
He did have a great year, but Simeon, you just had a lot of holes where you just disappeared for the Texas Rangers,
Yeah.
and I guess you could say that with Seager, but I know Seager was dealing with injuries. On the pitching side, I'm sorry. Do you have anything to say?
No, I mean I have a question. I
Sure.
mean I'm I get the Otani, um, but unanimous for the National League. That it was unanimous. Are you surprised that it was unanimous? With all these great players on that side, um, I'm not mad at the choice.
Mhm.
I probably would have went Acuna in his season. 370
Mhm.
stolen bases, 40 home
And
runs.
40 home
I
runs.
I I would have picked him. But are you surprised that it was unanimous?
Yes, I do think it's a surprise to me, and it's not because of the other people's performances. I just think it's because of politics. I know Acuna had the season he had, but first of all, Olsen was fourth in that list, and history has presented that if you hit X amount of home runs more than anybody else, you're probably going to be in a
Yeah,
higher position when it comes to. I mean, the highlight for Otani was the fact that he hit 48 home runs or whatever.
yeah,
Olsen had 54, right, and he
yeah.
led both leagues in home runs. He ends up fourth for whatever reason. So I thought things could be slated for Olsen because of the home runs. Then I thought Mookie Betts and Freeman, they're the land of the Angels, or the Lost Angels. Uh, oh my gosh, what am I trying to get to here? Now I just lost my thought. But Betts and Freeman both being former MVPs, having the stretch that they had, and for that 1 month and a half, bro, they were making it seem like Betts was running away from it. So that's why I'm a little bit surprised that it's unanimous because of how, again, politics, how everybody was speaking about Betts, Olsen with the amount of home runs, and then Freeman just being Freeman. Now I'm glad that it is because I guess besides Olsen's 54 home runs or how many home runs, I don't care for what Betts and Freeman did because yeah, I guess I think Freeman did. I don't think Betts was 300, and if Betts was 300, I didn't really notice. But none of you two is gonna steal 70 bases, hit 40 home runs, and then have an on base percentage of 1,000, by the way, and bat 320 whatever. None of you two. So
Well, I feel like Freeman before All Star break was on a tear,
yeah,
but then obviously died down, and then when he died down, then Mookie
that's when
Betts went on his tear. So they didn't go ahead and either one didn't play a full season
yeah.
of phenomenal baseball. Now this guy Acuna, full season, full throttle of phenomenal baseball. So I am glad he got it.
In every aspect of the game too,
Um,
because I think he won a Gold Glove, if I'm correct. No, he didn't. Sorry, no, he didn't.
um, but I am happy that it was unanimous. I'm a little shocked, but I'm happy for him
Yeah,
because, dude, 340 and
yeah,
70
yeah,
is ridiculous.
yeah.
So kudos to you, flowers to you, because that's amazing.
Same. Because that at least allows me that politics didn't play a role in this. Um, excuse me, pitching side, we have Cole, who unanimously
Yeah, yeah,
did win
yeah.
his Cy Young, and just like the trivia question, ends up being the second Yankee to do so. And Blake Snell, who ends up winning his second Cy Young in the last 5 years, if I'm correct. The first one being with Tampa Bay, and now winning this one. With the San Diego Padres. Padres, little nugget. I think if I remember what I read, Snell is one of like 7 or 8 pitchers
Sheesh,
that
sheesh.
has won a Cy Young award on each side,
Damn.
in the American and on the National League. Um,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm shocked that Cole was also unanimous too.
really,
I'm only shocked because of his wins. I was a little nervous. I'm like, yeah, I know he has the lowest ERA, but like the wins scared me. I was saying it prior. I'm like, he doesn't have a lot of wins, and he should have 20. Like he should be in that 20
for
class.
sure.
And I was hoping that the Yankees didn't fail him because he had a phenomenal season. I was just a little nervous because he didn't have a lot of wins. He had a lot of no decisions
Yeah.
because he was leading games,
Excuse me.
winning games, and we were just not closing out those games. So I was a little nervous, but I'm happy they got it right.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so let me tell you something. In my head, bro, because obviously we had this figured out yesterday, the docket. In my head, I was ready to argue with you in this point, and you just said something that debunked everything. Because this is what I was ready. I thought you were gonna come in like, oh yeah, of course Cole had it unanimously. Cole is Cole, this, that, and the third, and then I was gonna, break down that who he beat out was Sonny Gray and Kevin Gossman,
No, no.
right? But with what you said,
You can't say what.
you
Yeah,
said everything
no,
right.
man.
So I can't even.
No.
Cole, you deserve it unanimously. Yankees freaking middle finger to you for not helping out
Word.
his case even more. Uh, He's right. 15. What was he? 15-4. I forgot his
Yeah.
15-4. But he had a 2.09 ERA. Right, or 2.13. But he had 209 strikeouts. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, the strikeouts is what did it.
And the amount of innings pitched. He pitched a lot of innings this year. Cole, listen, man. And then now on the flip side, I thought it wasn't unanimous, so that's what helps this point, right? But it did surprise me because Snell had to beat out, right, Logan Webb. Now the only issue with Logan Webb was I know he had home run issues, like allowing home runs, and the San Francisco Giants win loss didn't really help him
Yeah.
out. But Logan Webb had a phenomenal year pitching, and he also beat Zach Gallen, which ERA wise, strikeout wise, was him. And he ends up going to
Yeah.
the World Series. The issue with Zach Gallen is if he played anywhere else besides Arizona, he wasn't Zach Gallen.
Word.
So Blake Snell and Garrett Cole. Wow, I forgot both of your names. Sorry. Kudos, flowers. You guys deserve it, especially Cole with your whole unanimous
Yeah, yeah,
Cy Young. Last little tidbit of baseball. We're gonna try to run this through because I know people are tired of us, but I think Cashman is out here just self-destructing, and I just want to know if that's what you think is really happening, or is this like a deeper, darker plan that Cashman has? But in this past week, Cashman comes out, calls out Giancarlo, calls him out a injury-prone money grabber, or whatever. I forgot what it was the word. Yeah,
yeah.
he basically called him a $30 million injury-prone player, or whatever he said, and I don't know what to make of this. Like, I don't know if it's him self-destructing. Like, does he know that he should be on his way out and he's just going to take the Yankees down with him? Like, I don't really know what's going on, but this is kind of gross from Cashman, especially meaning that you're one of the guys that defends Stanton every other year.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what he's doing. It's just everything that's being said in these, like, I guess interviews is just so wishy-washy. Like, one thing he's saying, "Oh, the Yankees are great. Oh, now we're hating on Stanton." I don't know if he's leaving. I don't know what he's trying to do. It's hard to pinpoint and see what he's trying to do. I mean, we've said this. We did say this about Stanton. Obviously, you're gonna defend him. Well, you're Cashman. You should defend him. And if you're gonna move him and say these things, then move him. Don't just say this about your guy and then just leave him there and sit him dry. Because I said Stanton for Soto, and you there goes the money, and then you get the guy you want. But they don't look like they're doing that. So for you to sit there and do that to Stanton, yes, it's true, but you're gonna say that publicly. Like, I don't think that should have been said.
Yeah, and you guys are already starting bad, in my opinion. In my opinion, you guys let go of Jake Bowers to the Brewers for I think it was two pitchers that I don't even know the names or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying Jake Bowers is our savior, but Jake Bowers played pretty well for us in the games that he played.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, but whatever. Cashman, leave. Just leave. If that's the case, just leave, bro, because we just don't appreciate what you have been doing in probably the last 8, 9 years. Um, Off baseball, we're going to transition real quick to college sports. I'm going to say sports, right? Because I'm going to get just a little. I want to give Appalachian State their flowers once again. You guys just managed
Wow.
to continue doing this, right? Appalachian State on Saturday. goes out and beats James Madison, the number 8 team in the country, and kills their undefeated season.
Dumb.
The only reason I'm highlighting this, right, and giving them flowers is this. James Madison on Saturday had the college game day. They were in, what is that, Virginia? I forgot. They were at James Madison University. They had the whole college game day. That's a whole big hoopla. They're 10-0. They're undefeated. They're number 18 in the year. And I know right now James Madison, they're going through the process of going from whatever, I think, Division 2 to finally becoming Division 1.
Damn.
So
we moving up.
yeah, no, James Madison,
We moving up.
they have arrived. But here
Level
comes
up.
Appalachian State. And for the fourth time
4.
in the last 14 years, they go and spoil a top 25 teams season. Those that remember 2007, Appalachian State beats out number 5 in the country, Michigan.
Dumb.
And that was a big one. I remember that like it was yesterday.
That was
a big one, right?
Michigan.
In 2021, they end up beating that year's James Madison, Coastal Carolina, who was also undefeated, number 14 in the nation.
Damn.
2022, number 6 in the nation, Texas A&M, and they ruin their season. And this past Saturday, James Madison, number 14 in the country, and beat them out and ruin their perfect season. Appalachian State, I don't know how you guys figure it out, but you guys just managed to come out here and just ruin top 25 teams seasons.
Level up.
Kudos.
Yeah, kudos to you.
Iowa.
Damn.
I wish EJ, I wish you were here because I know this is our girl, but Iowa goes down to Kansas State. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because the day that they lose to Kansas State, literally 364 days before that, guess who they lose to? Kansas State.
What?
So basically, a year after, you guys get upset again. Because it was an upset last year as well. To the same team. You guys are pulling what's homeboy's the quarterback in Notre Dame? He couldn't beat Louisville last year while playing for Wake Forest. Same thing. I don't know what's going on with Kansas State, but they got your number, Iowa, and you guys got to figure that out.
Yeah.
You guys just moved up to number 2 in the nation after LSU and who was it? I think UConn or South Carolina lose, and now you're probably going to be out of that with this loss. So.
Real quick.
Now, what I will highlight, though, I'm not going to – this might be biased, but whatever. Not going to blame CC22. She ends up scoring 24 points, which is not her norm, or it is her norm. But the next highest scorer on Iowa, do you want to take a good guess how much she scored?
I'm going to go 10.
Exactly 10 points. And let me tell you something. If you guys want to be something in the, what do you call this, the tournament, your second highest scorer can't just score 10 points, especially against Kansas State.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, in college news, LSU ends up recently suspending Angel Reese, their star player, and I guess women's college star player. Well, last year, because this year, as EJ and I said last week, there's a lot of players out there, man. That rookie in South, I think she's a rookie, or freshman, South Carolina, full Wiley. She's going off. If you guys haven't watched her, please go watch her. Angel Reese gets suspended from play by LSU, and the rumors are it's because her GPA is under 2.0. That's it. That's all I have. I mean, the only thing I'm gonna say is, if it's true, that's kind of weird because it's your star player. I feel like, listen,
I've never heard that one be an excuse.
That's what I'm saying. I think a star player, Division 1, you just won a championship with this girl, regardless of. I just think somehow the university will either put it under the rug, help her out, allow her to miss classes. I don't know. You guys will figure it out. This is your star, and it's bringing in money for the university.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be the conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
There's probably something else happening there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just.
And why 2.0?
That's another thing. So first of all, 2.0 is low as shit.
It's a C.
When it comes to university standards.
Yeah. Usually, when I play.
You're basically not showing up to class.
At that point.
So, and then my other side is, That's a little foul from the university, degrading someone publicly by saying,
Yeah.
"What's your GPA?"
So that's my thing. The only reason why, or you're allowing to degrade her on her GPA, is because I'm hoping that it's much more serious than if you were to bring it out to light, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So whatever she's involved or has done, it's better yet said that, hey, your GPA isn't good. Because if it's just that, then that is definitely,
Foul, like
yes.
super foul.
I would be offended. But hey, we're gonna say this because of X, Y, and Z, then you're gonna have to bite the bullet,
Yeah.
because if you don't want whatever to come out because of whatever you've been involved with or mixed with, you're gonna have to take the seat and bite it. That's
Now,
scary.
yeah, it's a little alarming.
Yeah.
We might just be just overanalyzing
Yeah,
it for
yeah,
all
yeah.
we
We
know. But
could
listen,
be.
I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
And maybe those in the comments below can let us know. Oh yeah, but this player, this, that. Let us know if there's been
Yeah.
other high-profile players
Yeah.
and defending champions that have been going through this. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think there was like Clemson or Georgia football. I think one time did this happen. I could be wrong, but listen, right now at the top of our heads, we don't know.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments below if there's has been anybody of the. I'm talking, bro. It's Angel Reese. Like
Yeah,
she
yeah,
took.
yeah.
It's not just college basketball she took over. This girl was in every podcast, every music video, every award show. Like this girl took over the country.
Yeah, she's her.
For you guys, the next season come
To be
back
like,
and like So I we don't understand what's going on here.
yeah.
We don't understand. And to finish off the episode, we're gonna quickly talk about an unfortunate event that happened. But there's a question that I want to raise because this question has been asked for probably since the sport started. And I don't know for what case the National Hockey League just doesn't want to implement anything, but there has been an arrest made for the recent freak accident that happened on the ice. I believe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, to Adam Johnson, I believe his name is. I should have his name, so I'm truly sorry and condolences to all his loved ones. Um, the freak accident where there was a, I'm not gonna call it clean, but I know it happens in the sport where you get bodied, you get tackled. Where it doesn't look clean is the player, and I'm not gonna mention his name because I know he didn't get arrested, but to me, you still play a role in this. So I'm not gonna put. I'm not even gonna put your name out there. I don't know. Uh, the player that tackled Adam Johnson, fl- it seems like he flings his leg up, which ends up injuring Adam Johnson. Unfortunately, it was a fatal injury. Correct. Um, there's not too much information except for the fact that someone in Europe has been arrested in regards to an investigation, a murder investigation in regards to this situation. If we get more information and if me and the guys are willing to talk about it, we will talk about it. And maybe we will because it probably should be brought to life. Right now, we're just going to keep it at that. The question that I do want to bring up, Eli, is should just hockey in general. Let's not say the National Hockey League because that's just America. Hockey does get played all over the world.
Yep.
Does the sport hockey in general should start implementing some kind of equipment that protects under the chin? For because as and maybe for the viewers and the listeners that don't know, hockey you do have a helmet and you do have kind of a guard that protects your eyes.
Yeah.
But literally from the nose down,
Nothing.
it is fair game.
Yeah.
If the puck hits your teeth, you got
You
no
lost
teeth.
one, yeah.
If again, condolences. Someone's skate is up in the air and cuts you. Things happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Adam Johnson, something did happen to him, and it doesn't seem like it seemed on video a freak accident, but it looks like by the investigation it wasn't. We're gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
But what do you think about possibly implementing more equipment protecting the players?
It's rare to see something happen like this. Um I don't know if I would make it mandatory, but I would make it very, very optional.
Okay.
I would definitely let anywhere and everywhere. ages of young, because they play this sport. We have guys in the league 16,
Yeah.
17 years old that are playing this game. So I would start it young. You don't know when these freak accidents are going to happen. So I would definitely market it as optional. Um, I wouldn't know mandatory, but I would want to provide it. I think the NHL should make it optional to put it on. I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to make it movable
Yeah, yeah.
because it's in an area where it's got to be comfortable and you got to breathe because these guys are flying.
Not only that, move your head. You
Yeah,
got
you
to be
got to
on a swivel.
you got to be on a swivel, and I understand we want protection. It's also we haven't. ha- It's hard to say we haven't had an issue like this that happens, and I know we want to prevent it from happening again. But we got to make sure that we keep them safe, but at the same time still be able to play.
Yeah,
So I would definitely make it optional. Um, but also at the same time, we gotta do some research on and a practice run. We got to be able to like, hey, like if we're gonna put this here, do you feel okay wearing it? Can you move? Can you still breathe? Like
yeah,
stuff like that. I would make it optional for the younger kids and watching them. I would want to say to keep them safe, probably make it mandatory at a younger age. And then as you're older and adult, you that's up to you.
yeah.
That's up to your discretion if you want to go ahead and protect yourself or not protect yourself. Um, that's the way I see it. It's tough because he was defenseless,
Yeah.
so it's hard.
Um, I 100% agree with you. Uh, and I think you literally hit all the points that, or the options and the reasons as to why this should possibly happen. Because it might not be mandatory. We don't want to force players because we're probably gonna get some players to be like, "Yo, I played like this for 20 years. I don't need
Yeah,
it." You know what I'm saying? Um, but if other sports have done it, you know what I'm saying? NFL, how many rule changes have they made to protect the quarterbacks? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Or protect hits under the knees. Um, MLB, I guess it was to protect the players, but implementing the pitch clock, implementing bigger bases, they did that in the minor leagues before they brought it up to the major leagues.
yeah,
So to your point, let's start at lower leagues or maybe with the kids or whatever the case may be, right?
yeah,
Um, like we probably, and I know there's and I know you kind of hinted at that. There's going to be research. You're going to have to do trial and error, kind of figure out how are we what's the equipment? How are we going to make the equipment? Where is it
yeah,
going to be attached? Stuff like that. I get, there's a lot of logistics, a lot of data and stuff you got to figure out, but you probably need to figure it out.
yeah,
And I'm not saying to completely eliminate the possibility of being cut anywhere from the shoulder up, but how about just create something that will shorten the window of a serious injury,
yeah,
or I really didn't want to bring it up, but because of where Adam Johnson got injured, how about how the NFL, some NFL players have like those neck guards that pop up. How
yeah,
about something like that? I don't know,
yeah,
but something that would just, if you don't want to just completely show out, because I guess of mobility, something that would just shorten the window of a fatal injury in the
yeah,
sport of hockey. Because I can't think of the word right now. If this was targeted or not, I guess that's the best way. If this was a targeted injury or not, we don't want this to happen
yeah. We don't
again.
want it to happen
Regardless
again.
if it's a freak accident, if it was targeted, if it would, we can't have not yeah, we can't have this happen in the sport of hockey
Yeah,
because Eli. I didn't even think of that. Eli made a good point. For those that have kids playing, like you don't want this. God forbid you don't want
yeah,
this happening to your kids. Now I don't know. I don't know if maybe they just play. Like I don't know how the kids leagues. Like I don't know if they still
yeah.
play with blades. Or, I don't know how that
Or
goes.
rollerblade.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how that goes. But
Yeah, once you've seen it happen once, you do get nervous as a parent. Um, and hey, I know when I was a kid, I was goofy. I was
yeah,
6'4" at 14. So just being able to move and like know your body, you're
yeah.
you're clumsy. You're a
That's what I'm
kid.
saying.
So like being on skates and you got to be like reliable and kids are goofy. They like to play around. So like protect them in a sense of having equipment, having it on. So if we can start there and making it mandatory for them until they're they know their body, they
Yeah,
know how to move, then yeah, I think then it becomes optional. But to protect our little ones, to protect, hey, our adults in their profession,
Yeah.
making it safe for them, then yeah, I'm all with it.
If you guys want any insight or maybe a starting point, I just thought of something. Work off what the goalies have to wear. You know, the goalies have a full blown
Yeah.
mask. Now, granted, I get it. They have pucks flying at them every second of the game.
Yeah.
You know, because of the amount of players around them, skates are probably in midair because the tackles. I get because of the position, it's a higher risk,
Yeah.
right? But they are wearing a full blown mask. They are wearing kind of like a neck guard under the
Yeah,
mask.
it does.
So use what the goalies are wearing and kind of just alter it for the players to wear, where they still have their mobility and stuff like that, but it's better protection.
Yeah, they could honestly like realistically build a strap, like
Yeah,
within the
yeah,
helmet to then let it like just fall down so
yeah.
it flaps. So like God forbid you were to fall down, it just flaps. It'll flap down. I mean, obviously, it'll take trial and error for you to fall down and see where it lands, but if you get a consistent flop and it sits down when you're laid back, and if it's able to sit there, you'll have more protection. Things like that hopefully don't ever happen again.
Unfortunately, but uh, once again, condolences to Adam Johnson's loved
Yeah,
ones. I know this is probably an extreme tough time, an extremely tough time right
yeah,
now, and probably even worse with this arrest. Because yes, justice is being found, but then imagine being a family member and thinking like it's a free accident, and now you're realizing that it's a murder,
yeah,
that it's an assault. You know what I'm saying? So condolences, prayers to his loved ones, and all those affected by it.
yeah,
We are going to. I hate that we're ending on a very sad note. We are gonna end the episode there, guys. Really
yeah,
big episode. Kind of wish we had a full cast for this episode. I think it would have been
yeah.
10 times better. But let me not lament on that. If you guys enjoyed this video, and there's no possible way you didn't. There's just no possible way,
A lot of
right?
good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And let me guarantee to you guys, if you haven't subscribed, I promise you your title is Booty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And hit that notification bell so you never miss a banger. We will greatly
yeah.
appreciate it. It's your boy Ray with Eli and Bella. We love you guys. Until next time,
Peace.
peace.